Hi, welcome to Generation Mingle. I'm the host, my name is B, and I just wanted to let you know how it came about to that podcast. So I have been creating that podcast with that idea that we really need to bring generations together and to understand each other and not have as much break between our generations. It seems like a lot of controversial situations could happen, and I would love to us to understand each other and get closure. So I do have today a guest. Her name is Sandy. Can you let us know, my dear, what generation you represent?
Okay, thank you for having me. I represent the one and only millennials.
Yay! Welcome the millennials. Ugh. Anyway, my generations is Generation X with a little bit of sprinkle of the boomer. Okay, sometimes a little bit more than less. That's what at least she says. Okay, so the podcast is. Our podcast is where the boomers, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z sit on the table and look at each other and think, oh my gosh, they are so weird. So, because really, for real, every generation is different. And if you guys think that the other generation is weird, that could be just your opinion, okay? Because we don't know what the other generation thinking about my generation or the millennials or the boomers. So it's just a personal opinion. So that's why we need to figure it out and understand each other. So our theme this week is, you think that's normal? Wait, possibly is not, okay? So this is why I have a Sandy here, and she has a question for me earlier, right?
Yes.
Did you ask about why the boomers, what was that?
I'm very curious to know why boomers think your generation is weird. Or do you think they think you're weird?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I know that they think that I am weird, right? Because let's go start with that constant statements from my boomers friends or my family, why you guys so weird? Why you thinking so skeptical and being different? Why you not committing yourself to times and doing things on time as we do? And I say to them, yeah, we have grown up in different era. For example, we are the latchkey kids.
I've never heard of that.
Well, when I grew up, I was about 6 or 7 when I went to school. Exactly, don't remember. Have to ask my mom. But we did have on the shoelaces or a key on our chest, and after school, we just let ourselves to the house, open the house, get in the house, throw hot pockets in the microwave, and we ran the household until the mom came after the second job in the evening back home. And that's what we did. Did you ever been home alone?
Not really. I always had to have someone there. So if I didn't have a parent at home or an adult, then I would have to go to someone like a nanny or friend's house.
I kind of understand that because millennials have been exposed to this internet, right, and different things. So I would not trust millennials to let them around home. Sorry, but just my perspective. Bring it on. Drop some emails, put it in the chat, right? That's just my opinion. And also during the boomers time, actually the neighborhoods has been more friendly to each other. So the neighbors look after each other, after kids, right? If somebody was in the house. And also I think the mothers didn't work, right? They were not in force like outside. Their husbands were the one providers. They went to work, come back, and the wife was at home taking care of children. So in my generation, the parents, almost every other household has parents that already, both of them work. So we didn't have a choice, right? We didn't have a choice when we live somewhere else, 2 hours away from the family members. So that's probably part of it. And in addition to, they think that we're really skeptical, right? And not trusting.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Well, we went through the Watergate. We went through the recession and through the, corporate downsizing. So why we supposed to believe in any, government institution or the churches and so on? We're not negative. We're just having trust issue. We're allergic to trust. We have to figure out stuff then all by ourselves.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
What is the difference between your fashion, Gen X, and boomer fashion? Because I feel like there's something that changed somewhere in the middle there.
Yes, I think we have been that fashion that we brought that fashion that is really like don't care, right? We brought the sweats and the sweaters, and I have no problems to just throw stuff like that on my body and run to the grocery store. But I believe that boomers, at least I have never seen a boomer just put a sweatpants and a sweater or a shorts and wife beater and just go to the grocery store. They have to always be dressed up like they go for some fancy dinner or they're going to the church.
Okay, I've loosely heard that term of the man beater. Can you explain that to me?
That was pretty good. Well, yeah, close. Actually, it's a wife beater, and it's a shirt that the guys doing the boomer fashion and prior to the boomers have wear like undershirt underneath, like polo shirts or the different shirts. Men before, my generation, they never wear just polo shirt or a shirt directly on the skin. They always have an undershirt, very similar to females, like they wear, sports bra under the t-shirts, or they will wear a regular bra under a nice blouse. So that was a part of the, outfit for everybody. Yeah, but like I said, now any generation, Gen X and everybody afterwards, just they throw in anything and just go it, where the boomers would never do that. Never, ever, ever would expose the armpits to go to the grocery store in that shirt. Yeah.
That's interesting choice of words there.
Yeah.
So why do you find boomers odd?
The one thing that really bothers me always was when my mom worked, extra overtime on Saturdays, or just during the week. She's supposed to be home on certain time, and then the boss asked her, hey, can you stay longer? And she said, yeah, no problem. Yeah, we have to finish the project. So she stayed longer, and then he said, hey, what about Saturday? Can you come up in the morning for a couple of hours? Let's go finish the project. Then she was, yeah, no worries. She went, and I was at home alone. Right. So this is what I think is weird, the commitment to the institution, right? And, the thing that you have to work for 30 years for the same company. And because of the...
Sounds like a prison sentence.
Yes, you can. Yeah, I can see your point, But again, do remember what we said previously, that the company really take care of the boomers, where my generation, my companies didn't take care really of us very much. Doesn't matter if we work hard or not. They have been, looking at us like, hey, whatever, we don't need you anymore, and they switch the tune and you look for another job. That was the downsizing, corporate downsizing, right? So yeah, that's basically it is. Yeah, I know you asked me earlier, right, about that buying stuff and.
Oh yes, I can't help but notice every time I go to my grandma's house, there's a lot of, as you say, tchotchkes.
Yeah, tchotchkes. It's from the East Coast, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of antique stuff, like the crystal Tupperware. And can you explain that?
Yeah, first of all, Tupperware, she's so funny. So let's go explain the Tupperware. During the time of the boomers, the wives actually had like a home business, and they were selling to each other, walking from home to home and selling Tupperware, which is the containers that we know right now, right, to store food, blah, blah, blah. That was the business, just like the guys were going from home to home and selling vacuum cleaners. That was the part of the Tupperware that the wives made the party. There was a really party, entire neighborhood came in and they purchased the Tupperware. So that's one. But the crystals, not Tupperware, is just, part of collectibles. So they have the vases and different sizes, the bowls, different sizes. And I know what you're saying, because I have friends and my family members that they have a too curious, lighten up, make little tiny, cups, collectibles, and especially the shot glasses, right? Las Vegas, New York shot glass. I don't know, did you have seen those?
Oh, you can't forget the fridge magnets.
Oh my God.
And the keychains.
Yes, you're right. The keychains, the fridge magnets, yes. And it's a funny part, but because they not even have been traveling, boomers themselves, but that was something that somebody else, when they traveled, brought for them as a gift. I never understood, and they holding to it, right? And they're spending entire Saturday just cleaning the little crystals and undusting everything. So yeah, I just, no way. I cannot handle the hoarding. And, again, the big grandfather's clock when you're walking into the house.
Yeah, it screams Halloween to me. The only time I see them is on scary movies.
It's funny that you brought that up, right? The point of view of the millennials. It is, right? The dark cherry and the noise. And I'm not sure if your grandma has, but I remember seeing in all those homes always like extra 6 or 8 chairs against the wall and little tiny tables that have always some, like you said earlier, tchotchke on top of it. I just cannot even imagine to deal with that if I would have to clean up the house. Would you ever care to have something like that at home?
No, not at all.
Not
No.
even anything memorable from you?
No, maybe pictures. I think pictures, and I would
Interesting.
digitize it, and you know.
Here she is with the digitizing, right? A millennial. It is, me as a Gen X, with the respect, I would just put somewhere 2, 3 pictures. I would not even think about digitize, but this is so exactly, that's what I mean, how different we are, right? So maybe boomers just think, how you can put my pictures that is in frame, digitize on some whatever disk or whatever you call it, right? So this is why we have those gaps. That's quite interesting. So anyway, I don't think that my generation or your generation is somebody that would like to have more stuff, right?
No, I think, like I said, I'd keep the pictures, the physical pictures, but I'd also digitize it, but everything else would probably go to the Goodwill. Sorry.
Sorry, boomers, please give us a feedback, send us email, put a chat in. What do you think about that?
So B, I have a juicy question for you.
Okay.
Why do you think boomers find my generation, millennials, weird?
Well, just like we spoke, earlier about the commitment to the jobs, right? 30 years and one job. And I think then that their opinion, I mean, I don't know if you hear that, but I hear very often, millennials are so lazy. Did you hear that?
Oh, yes, all the time.
And I think there's a little bit misunderstanding, right, from the boomers' side, that you guys hopping the job, freelancing, and you're looking for like a meaning at work. Where for boomers was, what's the meaning? I'm going from 8 to 5. I committed. I'm always there, taking vacation, come back after vacation, doing my job. And I think that's why they, think that you guys are lazy or have that opinion, right? That is not precisely right, because the economy and lifestyle of the jobs is different, like we mentioned earlier, isn't it?
I do think things have changed since the boomer days. Back then it was probably easier to stay at one company, and now with everything increasing in price, we do have to hop around a little bit more to get paid more. But I would have to strongly disagree with boomers that we are lazy, because I myself have, 2 jobs.
I absolutely agree. I think that that's coming definitely from disagreement, the huge gap that we are in the middle, and we kind of like the Gen X invisible negotiator, right? Because we went through that process, so I understand what you're coming from. Especially when the boomers always say, my gosh, why you're supposed to be mid-20 a mother already, you're supposed to be married, right, and purchase a home at 25 years old. But I just wonder, in that economy situation, how the millennials can even, do that. It's just so different than was before. Not to take away from the boomers that was easier on them, but I think the gap between income and purchasing a house is so far, difficult to reach versus was during the boomer time, don't you think?
Yes, I think, back then moms were able to stay at home, take care of the kids, and so they were able to have kids younger. Now both parties have to work to, have to even make it, have food on the table. So I think priorities have shifted. We're waiting longer to have kids if it happens, and we're prioritizing experiences and I guess personal happiness.
Well, it's just personal happiness around oatmeal latte and traveling to Bali.
Yes, not gonna deny that. Yeah, that's what makes my heart happy.
What about, you told me earlier, right? Your grandma asking you constantly when you're gonna have a children, because she wants to have great grandkids, right?
Yeah, yes, and the more she asks, the further it gets away from her, and in turn she gets puppies. So
You planning to have another dog?
maybe.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So yeah, definitely. I can see that. It's hard to commit, right, to being suddenly, wife or the husband and get on the mortgage, right? And that's it. And you're stuck with it, just like the boomers have been, or the partially Gen X deal with that as well. So it's much easier to just relax and have, life experience, like you said, and not being committed to children, right? Bringing up children,
Right.
thinking about college and the sports and activities versus, You have a dog, you go for a walk, you travel, you go hiking, you go to the beach, right?
It's just simple.
Yeah.
I think we like the simple life.
Simplicity, right? With no
Simplicity, yeah.
drama. Yeah, I completely understand. So,
But I do have to give something
right.
to the boomers. I know that they feel that we're too much online, which I do agree with them, that we are too much online, and I wish that we would be more outside. So I do have to give that to them.
I think it's something individuals, right? Because if you're home and you're relaxing, and a long time ago was the book for the boomers, or partially for the Gen X, right? So for you guys, it's this electronics. We just moved to having books, so I can understand that, right?
Yeah.
But again, we do the podcast and work on the podcast, because we want understanding.
Right.
We want to understand the boomers. We want to understand Gen X, how lost they were in sweats and wife beaters, and why the millennials think that tchotchke is something outrageous, and how important it is to them. So this is why we're here. This is why we're here to connect everyone. But I have a question for you. Why you millennials think that boomers are so awkward or are weird?
Oh boy, that's a long list.
Go ahead. Just spill this.
Well, for one, I feel like they just discovered Facebook, and they overshare. They overshare on Facebook, and they'll post the same picture over and over again. It's just a different pose. It'll be hand on the right hip, hand on the left hip, different types of smiles, different backgrounds, but it's the same picture over and over again.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you mean, like close-ups and this and that. Yeah, I
Yes.
need it. Yeah.
And then the emailing, all caps. It's like they're screaming at me. I don't know if they're upset or if this is just their normal way of speaking through the email.
I think sometimes it's just by accident, because I'm the one that sent once an email like that to Sandy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Also, the white picket fence life of, working, settling down, and that's pretty much it. Very structured versus, millennials, we like to prioritize our happiness, as you said, and having experiences and traveling. And I feel like we're maybe a little bit more selfish in those ways, and boomers, they're very structured.
Yeah, it seems like, absolutely. They're presenting themselves like have to be everything perfect, right? Like you said, over the fence, everybody has to look at the house, and the house has to be perfect, always clean, always everything aligned. Where I would not say, guys, that you're more selfish, but I think maybe this is the right statement. Maybe we're supposed to be a little bit more selfish, to have some time just for each other, right? I mean, mowing lawns at 6 o'clock on Saturdays. Is that the regiment, right, has to be done. Going to church on time, the regiment has to be done, right? And I think, and like you said, living like in the museum between the grandfather's clock and that, Turkish rocks that are from 1940s, dark burgundy, it's just, I can see that.
Yeah.
It's
And
just,
what's up with mowing the lawn religiously?
well, again, presenting to the others, right? In the neighborhood, you cannot let go any bush to not be aligned and straight. Like everything has to be clean. The car has to be clean. The beautiful flowers have to be. I mean, the boomers, they are the one. And please give us a feedback, boomers. But I remember all of what you're doing on every Saturday was clipping the roses, bushes. The husbands cutting the lawn front and back, and the wives running around with the hat and gloves, gardening gloves, and cutting the bushes, right, of the flowers.
Well, maybe if you know a boomer, I do need some yard work right now. Maybe you can send them my way.
That was funny. I have to give them up, seriously. I asked her to stop by because I do have some tools for the front yard and backyard, and she says, well, I can find some scissors to cut the bushes. And I was like, what do you mean, some scissors? And that poor thing was cutting with some small scissors, craft scissors, the bush in front. Yep, that's millennials. That's why it's something funny fuck, okay? So anyway, let us summarize, okay, all the conversation of today and move on to a list. Through the entire podcast, me and Sandy make a list, okay? So just let's go look on that generational weirdness shutdown, basically, okay? Right. So really, everybody thinks that everybody is weird, Okay, and that is why we made this handy chart, the generational weirdness shutdown that you can find on our website, and put your comment in our vote. Okay.
All right, so let's
Okay.
get started. So we made a couple of notes throughout the segment to kind of summarize what each generation thinks of the other. So boomers think Gen X are cynical slackers, millennials are avocado toast addicts, and Gen Z is glued to TikTok.
So right. Well, the Gen X thinks boomers are corporate robots. That's what I think. And millennials are always sensitive. Trust me, I know one right here next to me. And the Gen Z is just too much online. That was actually her statement.
Yeah. So we millennials think boomers are out of touch, Gen X are sarcastic loners,
Yes, we are.
and Gen Z is chaotic and fearless. But I see that as a positive. that last
Okay.
one.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know. I'm probably in that, too much to the boomer side as a Gen X to think something to do, something fearless. But yeah, agree. Well, the Gen Z, they think boomers are Facebook cringers, right? That's what you told me, because I don't know much now about Gen Z. You're the one, the informant for me. Okay, the Gen X are the invisible middle children, like I said earlier, with the negotiators, right? And for me, the millennials are seriously obsessed with Harry Potter. Don't you think?
Yes. And they've kind of also made a comeback in past couple years. They took one out of your book with Jack Skellington. So on Halloween, you can spot a millennial house if they have the Nightmare Before Christmas decorations.
Yeah, that's right. What are you, like 2 years old when this movie came out?
When did it come out?
Yeah, 1993 or some 1992.
Oh.
Let us know. But that's what I remember. That was one of my favorite movies. Now the millennials taking over, or the Gen Z.
Well,
My
we
goodness
take
gracious.
the best parts of each generation.
Generations.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I am so
Yes.
pleased right now. So anyway, who is right? Okay, who is the weirdest generation? Let us know. Honestly, I think all of them. And this is what makes this podcast fun and makes your comments fun, your emails and chats. So this is what I think. So what do you think?
I think boomers are the weirdest ones.
Me personally, I think they're all weird. I will not say no.
I think you have to pick one.
Okay, sorry. I will pick millennials because I think they lost the touch with the boomers just a little bit. Not all of you, but just again, drop us a comment. Okay, just my personal feeling. So I just want to thanks for hanging out with us, Mid-Generation Mingle. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and drop us a comment. Definitely want to hear from you. What do you think about all the generation weirdness? And, think and let's go create the crown. Which generation is the weirdest one? I want to thank you so much for Sandy to stopping by.
Thank you. And if you have a boomer mom, let her know to hear our episode. She might send us a chain email, but that's okay. We still love her. And if you have a boomer dad or grandpa, make sure you send them my way because I do need my bushes cut.
Well, overall, we just loved all the generation, guys. And what I wanted to say again, please keep in mind, okay? We're all connected. Your family member is your genetic, your roots. So don't hold grudge, regardless who you are. If your grandma, great grandma, father, mother, child, or the grandchild, reach out to them, talk to them, send them text, give them a call. Please. It's important to keep us all together and have a better understanding. So you guys, thank you so much again. Looking forward to have some comments and some emails. And to the next time, Generation Mingle, say goodbye.